Man, hip hop has been going crazy lately. After what I deem to be a slow start to the year, we've been getting dope project after dope project after dope project after dope project. I picked the best year ever to start doing music reviews. I feel like every time I'm getting on camera, it's like, man, I got another one for y'all. Talking about a real contender for one of the top albums, a real contender for one of the top rap albums. I gotta admit, I did have a little trepidation because I don't feel like the young dudes are really holding their own, but the grown men are killing it right now. And that brings me to one of the rappers I'm a huge fan of. Chance the Rapper is back, and he is rapping his ass off on Starline. I love the project, and I think I'm gonna do like 3 videos just talking about first the rapper, then the new album reaction, then I think I'm gonna do a review of the album. Because to me, Chance has one of the most insane careers. I discovered him back in 2013 when I was around 22 years old. If you're a Chance the Rapper fan, you know that's around the time he dropped his critically acclaimed, cult classic and beloved Acid Rap. It was critically acclaimed, but he hadn't blown yet. That didn't really happen until a little bit later. He got My Rap Go Kanye West on Ultralight Beam, dropped that amazing verse, and then came back with Coloring Book, and by that time, he was just out of here. He was up to the atmosphere. Let's just backtrack a little bit. Acid Rap was so dope to me because it reminds me of one of my favorite rap albums, Bizarre Ride to the Far Side, an album about a group of young dudes in California who smoke all day, chase girls, hang out and write some really dope rhymes. And with Acid Rap, you get an updated version. You get this young kid who hasn't got it figured out at the time. Like most people at his age, I mean, I was 22. I think Chance might have been like 19 at the time. And the album was about being heavily self-medicated and a whole lot of hooking up. And man, the album was just so relatable, especially for me, looking back at where I was at that time and not having anything figured out. Chasing girls and just flat out just living life. Man, I remember being so impressed by this 19-year-old kid rapping at such a high level. And Acid Rap just became like a soundtrack to my life, a project I actually live with. Every day I'm in my car blasting it, following along, repeating the silly ad lib that he's known for. And I gotta say, hip hop is a really strange place. I guess a lot of it is culture, so much of it is fugazi. Sometimes we forget it's more about making good music, and we make everything about what's cool. Despite how amazing I always say that project is, I remember at the time there was sort of like a split. There were the people in my camp who thought this was absolutely amazing and Chance is the next up and he is going to kill the game. And then you had the other side who act like you can't just love all forms of hip hop. They were like, oh, this is what we listening to now? Y'all want to listen to the junkies and the fiends now? Which is why I say hip hop is so fugazi at certain aspects. Because as you had a rapper like Future who is super amazing, but a large portion of his music is about being dependent on medication. Zero flat. Now we're in 2025 and these rappers are glorifying being fiends and junkies. Chance didn't drop another project for quite some time. He was still active and still around. And then we get to 2016 and Chance drops Coloring Book, another absolutely phenomenal project. But on this one, Chance is a little bit older. You can tell he's mature and he's not rapping about self-medicating so much, which I gotta admit I was a little disappointed, but it's a totally amazing project. He dives back into his church roots and gets a little bit more conscious on the project while giving us glimpses of that Chance we were all kind of struck by in Acid Rap. And it was official, Mr. He Who Knows Nothing, Mr. Know-It-All was right again and Chance the Rapper was a rap superstar at this point. And then we get another gap on the next music release. Chance falls in love and gets married. In 2019, he drops the infamous album entitled The Big Day, which got absolutely destroyed. I personally didn't like the album, but I don't want to dive too deep into it because in reality, I only listen to the album once or twice. I just remember thinking I don't like this album and this personally isn't for me. And I don't really want to revisit, but I don't even know if it's that bad of an album, but it got mocked so bad for being the I love my wife, I love my wife album. From this project, we're getting high, hooking up, and kind of being a bit of a fuck up. To the next project, we don't really get high anymore, but I'm still somewhat involved in hookup culture. I'm professing my love for God, which is dope, and I want to talk about the community more. And it definitely was a stark contrast between the projects, but the music itself was absolutely undeniable. So now we get to the big day and it feels like all you're talking about is marriage and loving your wife, which is absolutely dope for you, and I'm sorry it didn't work out. But it's like I always thought this was like this weird transition you did to where it was like, yeah, it's dope that you're sober now and we're happy for you. I think it also felt like you were also leaving your audience behind and wasn't having them transition with you. I think your original day one supporters were still in that mindset of, I'm still just trying to figure it out. I'm still self-medicating, I'm still hooking up, I'm still just a bit of a fuck up. And I really wish you would have stayed in tune with the fans more and didn't take so long in between projects. That way we really could have tracked your growth and had a better understanding. And also you probably could have been more in tune with the fans thought was some dope hot shit.